Good? 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 Good?
Yep.
Good? Molly?
Yes.
Sophia? Good? I'd like to call to order the school committee meeting for October 4th, 2021. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of silence. Thank you. The listing of matters on the agenda are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting is being shown live on cable and live streamed on the West Bridgewater Community Access Media website, wb-cam.org. A recording of this meeting will also be available on wb-cam.org. We'd like to start off by introducing our student representative tonight, Ms. Sophia Nelson. How are you, Sophie? And could I get approval of our meetings from our September 13th school committee meeting?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Superintendent's update.
Mr. Flynn, thank you. I'd like to start by going over my superintendent, the entry findings report and my goals for the 2021-22 school year. The complete entry findings report and goals are part of your packet, but I thought tonight I'll be able to summarize some of this information for you. First of all, the entry findings report is part of my new superintendent induction program, the NSIP program, which is a 3-year program. I did an entry plan, which I presented last year, and then the entry findings are what I'm going to present tonight and how I tied them to my goals. The purpose really is for me to learn even more about the entire district, gather information and data, identify areas of strength and areas of challenges within the district. I think I'm fortunate being in the district for over 20 years. I have a very good understanding, ideas of what goes on, but last year that gave me an opportunity to really look a little bit closer and gather some data. I also got to meet with a lot of the key stakeholders within the district, review documents and data, and really look at the challenges of leadership during COVID. And the challenges aren't just in the administrative roles, but for all of our educators. So I think it was a very good self-reflection for me to be able to look at everything that was going on within the district last year. So through my entry findings, I've identified 6 of the entry findings. And again, through self-reflection and the entry finding process, when I started doing this, I wanted to make sure I tied the entry findings to my educator goals. Now, I don't envision every year having 6 educator goals, leadership goals, but I thought it was important if I identified these areas of challenges or of importance to tie them back to goals that I can work on this year, and a lot of these goals may continue on past this academic year. I also think that this coming year, the year we're in, is going to provide me more opportunities to reflect on what's going on, because I think now we're getting more into the normalcy. We're still wearing the mask, we still have COVID, but we're incrementally getting closer to normal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief description of each entry finding. I'll talk about the goal that's associated with the entry finding. Within the documents, I've shown how I apply it to the superintendent's rubric as well as our district success plan. I will go over some of the actions, strategies, and timelines. In the presentation, I'm not going to go through every single one. I'm going to highlight some. All of them are listed in the documents. I'm going to talk about my proposed outcomes, so what I'm looking for at the end when I look at the goals. What do I want to see come out of these goals as a product? And again, this is just an overview of everything that I'm looking for this coming year. One of the things that really stood out for me in my first entry finding was lack of resources. We've talked about this a lot. We talked about it through the budget process last year. And I found that there's clear evidence that there are a lack of resources in the West Bridgewater School District, and it's necessary for us to address these so we can look at the needs of our students. And it's in a variety of areas: mental health, special education, EL services, speech and language, OT, and so forth. So we really identified them last year. We talked a lot about them. We're addressing them now. But I wanted to create a goal that would help us not in 1 year, but over a 3-year period, look at these lack of resources and how can we address them. I think it's important because it's not going to be a one-time fix. When I went in front of the Board of Selectmen and Finance Committee, we talked about, yes, eventually we're going to need more funding to support this lack of resources. When we looked at our per pupil and so forth. So the goal is over the next 3 years to review the current staffing in the schools and work with all available resources to add appropriate staff that are necessary to meet the educational, social, emotional, and behavioral needs for our students in the district and create sustainability that will fully support our students' learning grades K to 12. So how are we going to do it? What are some of the actions? Gathering relevant data that shows comparison with like districts, not only in the South Shore region, but also our DART schools, which would DESE have designated schools that are similar to West Bridgewater. Review our per pupil expenditures in the same type of similar comparisons. Completing a needs assessment with the administrative team to determine priority areas: mental health, special education, English language learners, speech and language, and OT. And set up budget meetings. We had a combined meeting with the Board of Selectmen recently, and we're looking at convenient dates for all of us so we can sit down and talk about what our areas of need are, so we can address them in the budget. The outcomes, in terms of a report of findings that prioritizes our staff, a 3-year plan that adds additional staff and identifies funding sources for each position, and a budget that reflects the needs of the district. We've already sat down with our administrative team and looked at our ESSER funds that we're going to use, ESSER 3. We've identified areas of need. We've identified how we're going to fund either through ESSER or through grants. But over 3 years, we'll be looking to take that funding and transition it, if we still have the needs in the district, to our general budget. It won't happen overnight, but we'll use the funding we have available when we identify those specific needs. The second finding and goal has to do with instructional leadership. It's always important to continue to focus on student achievement. We worked on reviewing and revising our walkthrough template this summer to focus on various priority areas. And we want to continue to use formative and summative assessments and data to increase student achievement and monitor student progress. Again, very important when we look at things such as our MCAS scores and other standardized tests. So the goal is to support and monitor the administrators in the district while providing instructional leadership to increase student achievement as measured by statewide assessments to an average above the state average in the aggregate annually. And this would be a 2-year goal for the district. In a few minutes, we'll talk about our MCAS scores and what we're doing to look to improve. So what are some of the actions that we've done? Schedule regular walkthroughs by administrators in the district. They'll be ongoing by the building principals. We revised the template this summer. We'll be doing group walkthroughs so we can norm expectations when we look at walkthroughs. Review the use of assessment data to increase student achievement. We've added assessment data in the middle school to look for ways to make sure we're teaching what we should be teaching in order for us to perform well on the statewide assessments. And the administrators, coordinators, and ITLs working to create action plans to increase student achievement. So things that we've looked at through the testing and other things to help us down the road. And our outcomes is an annual action plans created through collaboration of the administration and teachers at each grade level tested to ensure improvements in student performance levels. And over the next 2 years, students in West Bridgewater will perform above the state average in the MCAS scores. So that's certainly a goal. We always feel our kids should be above the state average in all tests. Our third entry finding has to do with professional development. In looking at the information, we want to create a more structured professional development plan in the district that allowed for building-based professional development plans. We found that it would be really important to focus building-based rather than allowing a lot of different ones within the buildings and working collaboratively on that. So the goal is to work with the administrative team to develop school and district priorities for professional development plans that will identify areas of improvement within each school that will result in a professional development plan each year. This is an ongoing process that we'll be looking to implement, so we have an ongoing professional development plan developed by a director of curriculum as well as with individuals from each school. So again, looking at the plan for this year, we'll be evaluating it as we go throughout the year. We'll create and implement a professional development committee consisting of representatives from all schools and administration. And we'll have monthly meetings with the administrators and the committee to discuss PD not only in this current year, but planning towards the future for next year. And the outcomes to review professional development, and we're presenting that review at the June school committee meeting, and we'll create an active PD committee, and we'll have a plan in place, so when by the time we leave for the summer, we'll have our professional development laid out, planned out, so we can focus on over the summer and into the next year, and it'll be either building specific or district wide.
Mark,
Yes.
could we be presented that in May instead of June, or is someone on the school committee going to be a part of that professional development committee for the written plan?
For the one for the future, or the review, you talking about the review, or both?
Well, I see that the plan is going to be written by June 1st, but then it's going to be presented to us at our June meeting, which would be after the plan being written. So if it could be, the findings could be presented to us in May, if we have any, I mean, I'm predicting that we're just going to think it's all wonderful, but this way, at least, if there is something that we may see from a school committee or parent perspective, we would have time to comment on it before the plan was written on June 1st.
We can do that. I think it's. I think that's, you know, when I wrote this, I think in June, but we know June usually can be a very busy time. So working backwards and doing that in May also works too. Thank you. Social emotional learning. We found a need to make sure we prioritize social emotional learning for students and staff in our schools, which will have a direct positive impact on student achievement and student success. I think it's important to say we're looking at the social emotional learning of our kids and also for our staff. So the goal is to work with administrative teams to begin to develop a social emotional learning plan and curriculum that will be integrated into each school in the district and provide an environment that supports the wellness of all students. Each building will be creating an SEL team that will help to plan and coordinate events within the school. We'll review all relevant data in each school that looks to identify the needs of our kids. We'll look to embed SEL learning into the general curriculum, provide relevant trainings for staff, both trainings we can bring in-house and sending teachers out for training, creating and implementing SEL supports for students and staff, and I think one of our plans is for future PD and using consultants in the future. This may become one of our longer-term goals in terms of now going back to our professional development. This is kind of the building blocks of laying it out maybe for next year in a professional development plan. And the outcome is to create a plan to integrate SEL into schools for the 2022-23 school year, as well as adding professional development for the schools. My fifth entry finding has to do with a school building project, reviewing enrollment data throughout the district, but specifically in the elementary level, looking at current class size and age of buildings, to begin the process of looking at a school building project to identify the needs of our students in the district. And the goal is to begin the process of drafting a statement of interest to be submitted during this school year for an elementary school building project to the MSBA. And with that comes research and understanding. So I'll be working with the MSBA to obtain training and information about submitting a statement of interest, meeting with the elementary administrators, head of building and grounds, school resource officer to look at any safety concerns, and anyone else that will help me gather information to submit the statement of interest, gathering all other relevant information and data relative to future enrollment. We hear about building projects in town, and there's a lot of people moving in. We need to look at what our enrollment may be so we can plan accordingly. This is a process that takes certainly many different years. And the outcome would be to have a statement of interest submitted by the date set by the MSBA to address the facility needs of the elementary schools. And finally, effective communication. I think especially over this past year, we found that effective communication helps provide relevant information to families. It helps to inform and educate families, which helps with student engagement and achievement. So again, the goal is to provide effective communication to students, staff, and families in the district and within the community, while also being visible in the district and the community. We'll do that through effective use of emails for communication, effective use of posting on the website and social media, coffee hours held by the administrators, continued attendance at school events and community events, and reviewing all platforms currently used by educators so we make sure we're focusing the academic information that goes home to families, that it's in, hopefully we're limiting the ways it goes home to provide them a clear understanding of what the expectations are, which will help with student achievement. And in terms of outcomes, visibility at school and district events to foster positive school and community interactions, information sent to families via emails and postings on social media, and keeping an up-to-date website with relevant and important information. So again, trying to tie what I've learned, what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've read, pulling data, looking at these as entry findings from this past year, and the goal was to ultimately tie them to my educator goals to focus the work of myself, but also of our administrators moving forward for the school year.
Thank you.
Questions on the entry report and or goals?
Anybody have anything for Mr. Bardwell?
No, I think it's a great idea to tie your findings from the new superintendent program to the goals for next year and beyond. We've obviously put a lot of work into it, so we appreciate that. Look
Thank
forward to seeing you meet all the goals and beyond.
That's my ultimate.
Thank you, Mr. Bardwell. All right. Next up, our MCAS information. Ms. Yanis.
For our spring MCAS results. There were some changes to the 2021 MCAS administration. So students were, administration was given extended time to administer the test. Usually we have a shorter window. We had almost until the end of the year last year to administer the test. Students in grade 3 to 8 were randomly assigned only one session of a regular 2-session test in ELA, math, and science. Grade 10 students had a 2-session test. Students in grade 3 to 8 could take the test remotely. So statewide, about 20% of the students took the test remotely. In the district, about 4% of students took the test remotely, and that was 26 students in grades 3 to 8. The test administrators who oversaw the remote testing used Google Meet as a platform. Grade 10 could not take the test remotely. Grade 11 students took the test for scholarship purposes, and there is a redesigned parent-guardian report for grades 3 to 8 this year. So this slide shows state and district scores as an aggregate. So the state in ELA scored 46%, meeting or exceeding expectations. The district scored 51%, meeting or exceeding expectations. In math, the state had 33% meeting or exceeding expectations, while the district had 24% meeting or exceeding expectations. And in science, the state had 41.5% meeting or exceeding, and the district had 40% meeting or exceeding. Grade 10, so the next few slides break down each grade level. Grade 10 had 69% meeting or exceeding, and the state had 64% in ELA. And in math, grade 10 had 52% from the district, and then 52% in the state. Grade 8, 38% in ELA at our district level met or exceeded state standards, and then the state had 41%. Math, 15% in grade 8 met or exceeded, and the state had 32%. And in grade 8 science, 29% had meeting or exceeding for the district, and the state had 41%. Grade 7, ELA district had 53%, the state had 43% in meeting or exceeding for ELA. Mathematics, district had 17%, the state had 35%. Grade 6, ELA meeting or exceeding, the district had 43%, the state had 47%. In mathematics, the district had 28% meeting or exceeding, and the state had 33%. Grade 5, ELA meeting or exceeding, the district had 60%, state had 47%. Grade 5 mathematics, the district had 25% meeting or exceeding, and the state had 33%. In grade 5 science and tech, the district had 53%, the state had 42%. Grade 4 ELA, district had 53% meeting or exceeding, the state had 49%. Grade 4 math, the district had 17%, the state had 33% meeting or exceeding. And then grade 3, district had 60% in ELA meeting or exceeding, the state had 51%. And grade 3 mathematics, the district had 52% and the state had 31%. So there is a need to increase achievement in mathematics, and we've already put some interventions into play. So we now have STAR diagnostic assessment in grades 1 to 8. Grades 7 and 8 will start it soon, but it's ordered. They've had PD. Kindergarten will also start soon with STAR diagnostic assessment in both ELA and math. We also have STAR CBM in ELA, grades K to 6, and in math, K to 3. And the CBM allows teachers to assess students' progress toward their long-term goals. It helps with RTI screenings and progress monitoring. We plan on implementing Freckle in grades 4, 5, and 6, and hopefully in 1, 2, and 3 eventually, in both math and ELA, and that will focus assignments, and it's tied into STAR diagnostic, so it'll focus assignments, assign skills to differentiate, and we'll use student data to fine-tune the instruction that the teachers are using. We hired math tutors at Roselle, Howard, and the middle senior high school. We have a stronger support from ST Math to develop some conceptual skills in grades K to 6 in math. And we changed our grade level ITLs to content area ITLs. So now we have a math ITL, we have a ELA ITL at each building, and we have a science social studies ITL. So we're going to also be implementing action plans, and Mr. Bodwell spoke about that. This is a template that we've used in the past, and this is what we plan on using again this year. We'll look at the standards that we were weak in, our action steps, who's going to be responsible, by when do we want it done, what resources will we have, do we have any potential barriers, and what our outcome will be. And the redesigned parent-guardian report for grades 3 to 8, it's supposed to be more parent-friendly and have more parent-friendly elements. Graphic icons and short messages will highlight the differences in the 2021 test. the changes to subject reporting pages, there'll be no reporting category or item results. Question boxes introduce achievement and growth charts, and grade and subject-specific questions and discussion prompts support parent engagement in students' current grades. And families can go to www.doe.mass.edu/high standards, and they can find the family guides to the Massachusetts state standards, and they can look to see what their children will learn this year in school.
Just a couple of things that the parent reports are going to be mailed out on Wednesday, so all families should be getting those presumably before the weekend. We know that our scores are down. The state scores are also down. I did send out an email to all families letting them know that came out prior to the release. But again, our expectations are high. We're lower in areas that we feel we can certainly improve. We know we've got great kids, high-quality educators, and high-quality administrators that will put these action plans into place, and it's our expectation that our scores will go up in all of the areas. So we're very confident about that. We know looking at from 2019 to 21, the numbers, are glaring in some areas, but we know we have work to do, but we're ready to jump right in, and the people have already got their boots on the ground and working hard to make those changes.
Thank you very much. Next is our student representative update. Sophie?
For the Spring Street School, the students have settled nicely into the new school year. We are excited to see the students working hard in their classrooms daily. Live touch pictures will be at school on October 5th, and teachers are looking forward to meeting parents at this year's curriculum night on Thursday, October 7th. For the Roselle McDonald, the students have also settled in nicely to the new school year. We are excited to see them working together once again in small groups and partnerships. We had a great turnout last week at the McDonald Curriculum Night, and the teachers were excited to be able to meet the many parents that attended. For the Howard, this school had a busy month of September filled with school spirit activities. We held our first grade level Pride assemblies that engaged students in our Pride expectations, school celebrations, and school competitions. Our Little Leo's Club and Student Councils kicked off and are holding weekly meetings to set their goals for the year, engage all of the Howard community and their endeavors. We also had our Fun Run kickoff to support our PTO and Howard School initiatives. Curriculum Night has strong attendance, and there was great dialogue amongst Howard families and teachers. Students will now begin to set academic and personal goals for themselves for the year that they will share with their families. And for the middle senior high school, we had a great start back to the school year, and September has flown by. Our curriculum night was a success with lots of great information being discussed with families. Our fall sports season is in full swing, and all teams are working hard. We held our senior prom last week, and all of our students looked fantastic. We had a great educational event for our juniors and seniors, partnering with our WB Public Safety and Med Flight, while they were reminded of the importance of safe driving.
Thank you very much. On to business. Our MACS Mass Official Delegate. In order for the school committee to have a vote in the annual business meeting of the Massachusetts Association of School Committees, it is necessary that an official delegate be designated in pursuant to Article 9, Section 6 of the bylaws. Do we have anybody that is interested in attending the meeting virtually on Saturday, November 6th at 9 a.m.? If not, I would be willing to do it. So this is a voting issue, so we would need to make a motion and vote on it.
I unfortunately have a conflict that
Okay.
day, so I can't be our delegate.
I'll make a motion to make Bill Flynn our delegate, or you want to do it?
You did? Okay.
Okay.
Well,
I'll make a motion to assign, or to delegate David Hill as our representative at this.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Donna has some information that I think we could do. Okay. Inclusion Matters, Mrs. Dragonetti.
The mission of Inclusion Matters, as West Bridgewater Special Education Parent Advisory Council, is to build inclusive schools and communities. We do this by supporting families of students with IEPs and 504s, and including regular education parents by offering advice, advocacy within the school system, and opportunities for education and community building through regular workshops and events for parents, guardians, and families. We are very excited to host next month's event in partnership with WB Public Schools, the WB Boosters, and the WBYAA. Often parents don't know how or feel comfortable including kids with special needs in their plans. This workshop is specifically designed for parents and caregivers of typical children. Join us for Promoting Inclusion, Promoting Friendship, the role of families of students without disabilities. Inclusion consultant Lisa Drennan has over 36 years of experience supporting individuals with diverse abilities, and through her company Merge Consulting, she provides guidance to recreation and community programs on how to welcome and engage individuals of all abilities. Participants in this workshop will learn how to include as well as support our children in meaningfully including kids with special needs. This event will be held on November 9th at 7:00 p.m. via Zoom. Just a reminder, you can also still join us on October 12th at 6:30 for this month's virtual workshop, The Special Education Basic Rights and Meaningful Parent Participation, presented by Angela Ferreira. Participants will learn how to become advocates for our children and take an active role in the IEP process. In the words of Verna Myers, diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. For more information about Inclusion Matters and upcoming events, you can find us on Facebook at Inclusion Matters MA or by visiting our website at www.inclusionmattersma.com.
Thank you, Mrs. Dragonetti.
Thank you.
Approval of policies, face covering policy. I believe we're going to leave this policy still out and open. We're going to continue to follow the DC recommendations, but at this time I do not believe we are going to vote on anything and just carry this forward. Any questions? No? Okay. Policies for review. It was brought to our attention to kind of take a look at this from a parent in the district about school committee members being background checked. So we're going to open up the policies, take a look, see if this is something that we wanted to proceed with. I'm not sure if anybody has any comments right now on these policies or has any questions, or through the course of November, if we want to make some changes to this, we can do this at our next meeting, but we'll open up the policy and obviously go through it and talk about it. Okay. Everybody's good? All right, perfect. Warrant Subcommittee Report, Mrs. Dragonetti.
The following warrants were issued and paid for the fiscal year 2022. Bill warrants: September 23rd, 2021 for $43,438.61. September 30th, 2021 for $71,234.31. And October 7th, 2021 for $78,043.42. The following two payroll warrants were also issued: September 17th, 2021 for $496,214.06, and October 1st, 2021 for $514,801.20. As always, all warrants are public record and once signed are available in the Selectman's office for review.
Thank you, Mrs. Dragonetti. Public comment. Members of the audience wishing to address the committee may do so at this time. Audience members are reminded that personnel issues and issues that would violate student or employee confidentiality cannot be addressed during the public comment. Do we have anyone wishing to address the committee? Could please just state your name and your address?
My name is Carol Langley. My address is 745 Pleasant Street.
Excuse me?
My name is Carol Langley. My address is 745 Pleasant Street.
Thank you.
So I was under I thought you guys were going to be voting on the mask mandate, our new policy for that, but this is pertinent regardless. I know these are unprecedented times, but like it or not, we're going to have to set a precedent here. Desi has no right to my child's body or face. Desi also has no legal authority to enforce public health mandate. And their guidelines universally mandate masks that are not intended to prevent viral transmission. The Desi press release was very clear that the mask mandate is about kids getting vaccinated, not about preventing viral transmission. Throughout the pandemic, Goalposts have consistently been moved and rules have been changed. You may not have a ton of parents complaining right now, but DESI's already moved that goalpost once, and this is going to become, we know it's going to happen again. This has happened throughout the pandemic. DESI is just another government agency that's going to do exactly what we've seen. We closed for 2 weeks, and here we are, 2 years later. DESI can set forth guidelines, but enforcing public health mandate, that falls well outside their legal jurisdiction. DESI and their legal advisors are well aware of this. They know they don't have the authority, which is why they've charged you with enforcing these illegal mandates. Do you think DESI's lawyers are going to back you up? They're not. They're going to hang you out to dry. By enforcing these guidelines, you are breaking federal law, you are breaking state laws, you are violating the Nuremberg Code because it's coercing parents to vaccinate their children, and you are violating both our children's constitutional rights and our parents' constitutional rights as well. You can and will be held personally liable for these violations. DESI will not pay your legal fees, your personal legal fees, or the town's legal fees. I have to ask, are you guys okay with being put in this position? Because I really think that you're all here for, with good intentions. And I think you're all doing the best you can. These really are unprecedented times. This isn't anything any of us asked for. I have an issue with you guys being put in this spot. It's not fair. You didn't ask for it. But your position comes with a level of responsibility. You have a responsibility to our children, their families, and our community. Current published DESI guidelines do not recommend disciplinary action, yet you sent an 8-year-old home from the first day of school on a dress code violation. And how many times has that happened in West Bridgewater previously? You are going to fight for these mandates or you're going to fight against them. There is no in between. You have the freedom to make that decision. Either way, this is going to cost us as a community, but this is the position we found ourselves in. You know the right thing. There is a right thing here, and you're going to have to figure it out, do some heavy thinking and look inward and all that stuff and figure out what's right. I know what's right. I know our freedom of choice is imperative right now. Have the courage to do the right thing. Don't violate the Nuremberg Code. If you must author policy, include the language that current DESI recommendations do not include disciplinary action. That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you for your comments, Mrs. Langley. Do we have anyone else willing to address the committee?
I would like to address the committee as, I don't know if I'm as a school committee member, as a parent, but I also have concerns about, these policies that they're asking us to enforce. And I know we didn't discuss the policy tonight, but we do have a mandate that we're following, but when they sent a recommendation for a policy, it had additional things, and I'm happy that we're not putting those additional things in their recommendations in the policy. And it just makes me question if those recommendations that they're making for us to put to a policy, and I'm glad we didn't make a policy tonight. If they were lawful, I think they would have put them in the mandate. And so that's where I think Mrs. Langley was pointing that out. It doesn't match up. So I'm happy we didn't, or as a community member, I'm happy as a parent that the school committee did not vote on a policy tonight to make a mask policy.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Any additional comments? Anybody? Committee? No? Okay. Our announcements. District-wide, Inclusion Matters, October 12th, 6:30 to 8 o'clock in the virtual workshop. A PTO meeting, October 26th, 7 p.m. at Barrett's, West Bridgewater. Athletic Boosters will be October 13th, 7 p.m. at the Middle Senior High School Learning Commons. At the Middle Senior High School, October 7th is the Principal's Coffee Hour at 8 a.m. October 8th is Grade 7 YMCA Field Trip. October 13th is the Life Touch Picture Day. October 15th, Grade 8 YMCA Field Trip. On October 22nd, the Senior Treetop Adventure Field Trip, plus the Powder Puff fundraiser game. I guess this, Mrs. Page, goes towards the Senior Scholarship Fund?
Correct, the class of 2022 scholarship.
Okay, I hear there might be a few little changes to the operation this year. Big surprises coming this year? Well, that'll be good. Good, we'll get the Senior Scholarship Fund off to a good start. October 23rd, the homecoming dance, 7 to 10 p.m. October 30th, National Honor Society Trunk or Treat, 2 to 5 p.m. November 4th, the Cabaret Senior Project. November 5th, the middle school dance at 7 p.m. At the Howard School. October 13th, the PTO Fun Run. October 15th, Grade 5 field trip to Gillette. November 3rd, picture retakes. Roselle McDonald, October 13th, PTO Fun Run. October 20th, Life Touch Picture Day. At the Spring Street School, October 5th and 6th, Life Touch Picture Day. October 7th, Curriculum Night Pre-K, 6 to 6:30 p.m., and Kindergarten, 6:30 to 7 p.m. October 13th, the PTO Fun Run Preschool Dance Fit. Our next regular school committee meeting will be November 8th, 6:30 at the Middle Senior High School Learning Commons. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good evening.